everyone. Welcome to our English learning YouTube channel, that is Kadambini Srushti. I am Kadambini. So today we will discuss the part 2 of the chapter The Beggar, written by Anton Chekhov. We have already made a video on the part 1 of this chapter, that is there in the non-detailed part of the skills of communicative English class 10 Odia medium school. Okay. Let us go to the chapter. So in every chapter, in every story, I have given 5 basic elements to discuss, and that makes or that simplifies the understanding of the story. But here what I have decided, that at the end you will say what are the 5 basic elements and you will write it. Okay. So before going to the video, one request: if you like the video, then click on the like button, and if you want to say something on this video or anything that comes to your mind, then kindly write it on the comment box. If you feel that this video is essential or necessary for any of your near and dear ones, then you can share it. And finally, if you have not subscribed our channel, then kindly click on this subscribe button that is there in red color, and don't forget to click on the bell icon. Okay, so let us start the video. Part 2 of the story The Beggar, written by Anton Pavlovich Chekhov. Sergei hastened along. Rubbing his hands, he called his cook out of the kitchen. "Here, Olga," he said, "take this gentleman into the woodshed and tell him chop wood." The scarecrow of a beggar shrugged his shoulders as if in perplexity and went irresolutely after the cook. It was obvious from his gait that he had not consented to go and chop wood because he was hungry and wanted work, but simply from pride and shame, and because he had been trapped by his own words. It was obvious too that his strength had been undermined by vodka, and that he was unhealthy and did not feel the slightest inclination for toil. Sergei hurried into the dining room. From its windows one could see the woodshed and everything that went on in the yard. Standing at the window, Sergei saw the cook and the beggar come out into the yard by the back door and make their way across the dirty snow to the shed. Olga glared wrathfully at her companion, shoved him aside with her elbow, unlocked the shed, and angrily banged the door. Next he saw pseudo-teacher scat himself on a log and become lost in thought, with his red cheeks resting on his fists. The woman flung down an axe at his feet, spat angrily, and judging from the expression of her lips, began to scold him. The beggar irresolutely pulled a billet of wood towards him, set it up between his feet, and tapped it feebly with the axe. The billet wavered and fell down. The beggar again pulled it to him, blew on his freezing hands, and tapped it with his axe cautiously, as if afraid of hitting his overshoe or of cutting his finger. The stick of wood again fell to the ground. Sergei's anger had vanished, and he now began to feel a little sorry and ashamed of himself for having set a spoiled, drunken, perhaps sick man to work at manual labor in the cold. An hour later, Olga came in and announced that the wood had all been chopped. "Good, give him half a ruble," said Sergei. "If he wants to, he can come back and cut wood on the first day of each month. We can always find work for him." On the first of the month, the waif made his appearance and again earned half a ruble. although he could barely stand on his legs. From that day on, he often appeared in the yard, and every time work was found for him. Now he would shovel snow, now put the woodshed in order, now beat the dust out of the rocks and mattresses. Every time he received from 20 to 40 kopecks, and once even a pair of old trousers was sent out to him. When Sergei moved into another house, he hired him to help in the packing and hauling of furniture. This time the wife was sober, gloomy, and silent. He hardly touched the furniture and worked behind the wagons, hanging his head, not even making pretense of appearing busy. He only shivered in the cold and became embarrassed, and his tattered fancy overcoat, after the moving was over, Sergei sent for him. Well, I am happy that my words have taken effect, he said, handing him a ruble. Here is for your pains. I see you are sober and have no objection to work. What is your name? Luskov. Well, Luskov, I can now offer you some other cleaner employment. Can you write? I can. Then take this letter to a friend of mine tomorrow, and you will be given some copying to do. Work hard, don't drink, and remember what I have said to you. Goodbye. Pleased at having put a man on the right path, Sergei tapped Luskov kindly on the shoulder and even gave him his hand at parting. Luskov took the letter, and from that day forth came no more to the yard for work.
नमस्कार मु दीप्ति रेखा के एस यूट्यूब चैनल जोटा कि कादम्बिनी सृष्टि यूट्यूब चैनल जो थी कि गवर्नमेंट स्कूल रो पिला मानन को पई ए लॉकडाउन पीरियड रे पाठ पढ़ी पारु ना जो माने स्कूल को जाई पारु ना से माने यूट्यूब चैनल माध्यम रे पाठ पढ़ी परिबे बहुत किछि शिक्षणीय जिंस एथरे अछि शिक्षा लाभ करि परिबे तेनु एई चैनल को सेथि पई दरकार शेयर करिवे सब्सक्राइब करिवे लाइक भी करिवे आउ ए चैनल माध्यम सब कुनी कुनी छुआ माने निश्चित मात्रा रे किछि ना किछि हासिल करि परिबे शिक्षा को नेके थैंक यू सो मच
Okay, let us discuss the part 2 of the chapter The Beggar. So here what I have done, I have just divided this part into 3 different angles so that it will be easier to understand the text in a nutshell. Okay, so here also there is a question. What are the 5 basic elements of this part? Yes, there are 5 elements in this part, but this time I have assigned this work to all of you. That means you will decide what is the place, what is the time, and who are the characters, and what is the problem, and finally who gave the solution or who is the hero of this particular part. Okay, so before that, let us start this part, and at the end you will say the 5 basic elements. In this part, Mr. Sergei, the advocate, wants the beggar to do a job. Okay, so I have divided this into 3 parts. In part 1, it is written before the completion of work, and here in the middle comes the reaction of the advocate, and in the last part it comes after the completion of the work. So this part starts with Sergei entered into his house with the beggar. Mr. Sergei entered with the beggar and called Olga. Olga, who is Olga? Olga is the cook of the advocate. Then the second point here is the scarecrow. So who is the scarecrow here? Then what is the meaning of scarecrow? It is just a model used by the farmers inside their farm to scare the animals. But here the advocate Sergei used this word scarecrow for whom? Who is the other character here? Yes, the beggar. Okay, so he called the beggar as the scarecrow. So the scarecrow shrugged. Shrugged means raised its shoulder, and with perplexity. Perplexity means in confusion whether to do the work or not. So the scarecrow shrugged with perplexity and went irresolutely. So irresolutely means without the resolution. Without the resolution means having no consent whether to do or not. That means the beggar is in a confusion whether to go with the advocate or not. But he was trapped with his words. The second point is the beggar was in confusion whether to do the work or not. The third point is no consent from his gate. So here another new word, that is gate. Gate means from his work. It is very clear that the beggar is not at all interested to do the work. Then comes why he is not interested. There was reason behind that, why he was not agreed to do the work. So first one is he was hungry. The beggar, due to having no money for him to eat, he was very hungry. Secondly, he was undermined by vodka. Vodka means, the liquor, and he was very much acquainted with that, and due to that his health was deteriorated and his health was not in a good condition to do any job. Olga glared wrathfully to the beggar. So glared wrathfully means Olga gave an angry look to the beggar, the hungry beggar who is not at all interested to do the work. Then comes the pseudo teacher. Mark here another new word, that is pseudo teacher. Pseudo teacher means who is just acting, or the artificial beggar who was a teacher and sat himself. That means he sat on a log, and just mark how he was sitting. He was sitting on a log, resting his fist on his red cheeks. You know why his cheeks were red? Because of due to heavy cold. Then comes the omen, again flogged. Flogged, what did he flog? He flogged and asked. For what? So that the beggar will start working. And after that, what she did? Then she scolded the beggar. Why did she scold? Because he found that the beggar had no money to eat and he had a chance to earn money, but he was not interested to do any work or to earn money. Finally, Olga, the cook, gave so many hints to the beggar that this is the right time that the beggar should work hard and earn money. Otherwise, he can't live in this world. So finally, the beggar started to work with the axe, and he brought a thick wood, that is billet, and tried to cut the wood. So his freezing hand severed with cold and he could not do anything. That means the billet he could not cut. So in this way the process continued. All these activities of the beggar and Olga were watched by whom? By the owner. That means the advocate or Sergei. So he was watching everything. Finally, what was the reaction of Mr. Sergei? Sergei felt sorry and ashamed. For what? Why did he feel sorry? Why did he feel ashamed? Because of having set a spoiled, drunken and sick man to work. Sergei felt sorry for all these things. But what happened? After 1 hour, mark here, after 1 hour, Olga came. Olga means the cook, entered into the Sergei's room, and he said that the wood had all been chopped. The wood had all been chopped. You just mark the sentence, how it is written. It was not written that the beggar had chopped all the woods. No, it was written the wood had all been chopped. Okay. So finally, you just imagine what must be the reaction of Mr. Sergei. Finally, Sergei thought, okay, let us leave everything. That means the wood were chopped. So Sergei announced or said Olga to give half a ruble to the beggar. Okay, so in this way, this part is over. So after that day, on the first day of every month, Sergei wanted to give his work to this fellow, that means to this waif. Here another word is used, that is waif. Waif means the homeless person. So who is the homeless person here? Yes, the beggar or the scarecrow or the mendicant, suppliant or the suppliant. All these words the writer has used for this beggar. So what are these words? Number 1, he said him as the suppliant, mendicant, scarecrow, and finally the waif, and also pseudo teacher, and also the scarecrow. So all these words are used for this particular beggar. On the first day of every month, the owner of the house, that is Mr. Sargai, found work for this waif. What were the different works that were assigned to the beggar? So the works were as follows. So first one is to shovel snow. So what is shovel? Shovel is an instrument that is spade, and here it is used as verb. So to shovel snow, or to put the wood shed in order, or to beat dust out of the rocks and mattresses, or to, so in this way the beggar could earn 20 to 40 kopecks every month. Okay, so kopecks I have already said in the first video, that is 1 ruble. 1 ruble means 100 kopecks in Russian currency. Okay, one day Mr. Sargai gave one pair of trousers to this beggar. So in this way the days went on. What happens one day while Sargai moved to another house, then this beggar was hired as one of the labor and he worked there. So what work he did there? So the beggar was hired to pack and haul the furnitures, and also the beggar worked honestly here. Here he was very sober. Here the beggar was sober, gloomy and silent. Sober means serious or sensible. And another thing, what Mr. Sargai found here in this beggar is that he had no objection to do any job now. Okay, so he was just consented. That means previously the beggar didn't have consent to do any work, but this time there is a difference in his behavior. And what was the behavior? That he was ready to work. Even if he was severing with cold, he didn't have enough energy to do the work, but still he has a consent to do the work. So this time Sargai was satisfied with the job of the beggar. Here the advocate wanted to know the name of this beggar, and he asked his name, and the beggar said that his name is Luskov. Now finally the name of the beggar is given in this chapter or in this part by the writer. Then Sargai asked the beggar, "Can you write?" And the beggar said, "Yes, I can write." So Sargai gave him a letter and sent him to one of his friends. For what? For a cleaner job, for cleaner employment of this beggar. Okay, so in this way, finally the advocate Sargai said goodbye to this beggar and sent him to his friend. For what? To do a cleaner job. So in the next part, we will see what happened with the beggar, whether he got a job, that means a cleaner job or not, whether his situation was changed or not, whether he lived in the same manner or there came some change in his behavior and lifestyle. Okay. Now, you just match the 5 basic elements of this story that you have thought in your mind and that I have written on this board. So, first one is time. Time is as usual, it is past, and then comes place. Just imagine what is the place here? Yes, the house of Mr. Sargai is the place here. Next comes the characters. So, who are the characters here? Yes, the previous characters, that is number 1 Mr. Sargai, and the beggar, that is name is Luskov. So first one is the beggar, that is Luskov, and the second one is the cook, that is Olga, and the third one is the advocate, that is Sargai. That is Mr. Sargai. And next comes what is the problem in this part particularly. The beggar's struggle for earning his livelihood is the problem here. So how he got the solution? Finally, the solution came in the form of the beggar was sent for a cleaner job by the advocate to one of his friend with a letter. Okay, just imagine what Mr. Survey must have written in that letter, and why did he send this particular beggar to his friend? For what? So in this way, this part completes, and we will see what happens in the next part. Okay. In the first video, we have given the meanings of the difficult words, with that some of the important questions, and the answers we have not given in that part. So you will get the answers of those questions in this part. Okay, so towards the end of this video, you will get some more important questions with some new words and their meanings. Okay, so if you want to see that, then don't skip the video. Part 3 of the chapter The Beggar, written by Anton Pavlovich Chekhov. 2 years went by. Then one evening, as Sergei was standing at the ticket window of a theater paying for his seat, he noticed a little man beside him with a coat collar of curly fur and a worn sealskin cap. This little individual timidly asked the ticket seller for a seat in the gallery and paid for it in copper coins. Luskov, is that you? Cried Sergei, recognizing in the little man his former wood chopper. How are you? What are you doing? How is everything with you? All right, I am a notary now and am paid 35 rubles a month. Thank heaven, that's fine. I am delighted for your sake. I am very, very glad. Luskov, you see, you are my godson. In a sense, I gave you a push along the right path, you know. Do you remember what a roasting I gave you? I nearly had you sinking into the ground at my feet that day. Thank you, old man, for not forgetting my words. Thank you too, said Luskov. If I hadn't come to you then, I might still have been calling myself a teacher or a student to this day. Yes, by flying to your protection, I dragged myself out of a pit. I am very glad indeed. Thank you for your kind words and deeds. I am very grateful to you and to your cook. God bless that good and noble woman. You spoke finely then, and I shall be indebted to you to my dying day. But strictly speaking, it was your cook, Olga, who saved me. How is that? When I used to come to your house to chop wood, she used to begin, Oh, you miserable creature, there is nothing for you but ruin. And then she would sit down opposite me and grow sad, look into my face and weep. Oh, you unlucky man, there is no pleasure for you in this world, and there will be none in the world to come. You drunkard, you will burn in hell. Oh, you unlucky man, oh, you unhappy one. And so she would carry on, in that strain. I can't tell you how much misery she suffered, how many tears she shed for my sake. But the chief thing was, she used to chop the wood for me. Do you know, sir, that I didn't chop one single stick of wood for you. She did it all. Why this saved me? Why I changed? Why I stopped drinking at the sight of her, I can't explain. I only know that, owing to her words and noble deeds, a change took place in my heart. She made me right, and I shall never forget it. However, it is time to go now. There goes the bell. Luskov bowed and departed to the gallery. Okay, let us discuss the third part of the chapter, The Beggar, written by Anton Chekhov. Okay, so this part is the last part, and here what happens, I think it should be discussed in a dialogue manner, because here the characters are saying something, so it is just like a conversation. So I have written those conversations or the sentences on the board. So let us start discussing what are the discussion that happened between Luskov and the advocate, that is Mr. Sergei. And what about the 5 basic elements? We will go to that at the end of the discussion. And you have to decide and you have to say what actually the 5 basic elements of this particular part. 2 years later, one evening, while standing at the window of a theater, Mr. Sergei saw a man, a little individual, and wearing a coat having a curly fur collar and with a sealskin cap. And suddenly, Mr. Sergei recognized that man as his former woodchopper. So he asked so many questions to him. So what were the questions? Luskov, is that you? How are you? What are you doing? And how is everything with you? So suddenly Mr. Sergei asked so many questions one after one to Luskov. And Luskov, the timid individual or the little individual, just answered in a slow voice, yes, all right, now I am a notary and I am paid 35 rubles a month. Okay, so in this way the conversation between Sergei and Luskov started. And then Sergei, then you just think what must have happened to the heart and mind of Mr. Sergei. He was very much happy, glad. So Sergei said, thanks heaven, that's fine. I am very, very glad to hear all these words from you, because you are my godson. Do you remember what a roasting I gave you on that day? So suddenly Luskov remembered everything that happened during his past, and Luskov replied, yes, how can I forget that? How can I just wipe out those memories from my mind? Because by flying that protraction, or protraction means your noble deeds, protraction means your hard words or harass words that brought me out of the pit. Thank you for your kind words and kind deeds. So in this way, they just talked for some time. But after some time, suddenly what happened? Luskov gave a different statement, totally out of imagination type of sentence. So what was that? He said, but it is your cook. But it is your cook who saved me. Mr. Sergei was surprised to hear this statement. Okay, and he asked, how is that? How is that? Means how Olga or the cook changed you. So she always, or she used to say or begin to say so many words to me. For example, he said, you sot. Sot means the drunkard. So you sot, you unhappy man, you miserable creature, you unlucky man, there is nothing good for you in this world. Because you are a drunkard, you will burn in hell, and you are the unhappy man, so no good will be there in your life. You will be ruined. Ruin means destruction or damage or sorrow will only the result of your activities that you are doing here. See, in this way, Olga gave so many difficult or harsh words to the beggar, that is Luskov. Again also, she used to shed tears for me because of my ruin, because of my unhappy situation. So after so many days, after seeing all those activities of Olga, I don't know why, but there came a change in me. There came a change in my heart. And I don't know, I can't explain why this happened, but suddenly, and I decided to change myself, to bring change in my behavior. So why I changed, I don't know. Her novel words and deeds that brought a change in my heart, and due to that I was changed. So here the writer has not written what was the reaction of Mr. Sergey, or no chance was given to Mr. Sergey to give what is there in his mind, in his body, in his heart, what he happened, what he thought, what he decided, and what was the reaction of Mr. Sergey after hearing all these words from Luskov. At last, Luskov said that I am very grateful to Olga and also you, because of your noble deeds and words that brought a great change in my mind. Otherwise, I would have been living in that miserable situation and I would have said myself as one of the teacher or student, but because of your deed and words that brought a great change in my mind. So in this way the story ends. Now here you just mark the difference in the words that is used in part 1 and part 3. So in part 1 it was written, the ragged fawn-colored overcoat and the dull drunken eyes of this miserable creature. But here in this part, that is in part 3, you just see the words that is used for this particular man, that is Luskov, a coat color of curly fur and a seal skin cap. So that why these things are written, or what is the meaning that the writer has used, that is inherited meaning. Okay, so the difference is that there Luskov was turned as a beggar, but here in part 3 Luskov is turned as a notary who can earn 35 rubles per month. That's why another word is also used. He gave a copper coin for buying a ticket in the counter. Okay, so you just mark the difference. What type of change came in the mental, physical and the economical condition of this man, that the beggar becomes a notary now. So there came a great change. And now the question is, why such change came in this particular man? So what are the things, or what is the reason behind this change? So the reason is the noble words and the deeds of Olga and Mr. Sergey, these two persons, that brought a great change in the life of this miserable creature becomes a notary. Okay, so in this way the story completes, in this way the story ends. Let us see what are the basic points of this part. So here what I found, so first one is time. So time is as usual past, and second comes the place. So what is the place here? Your place is the ticket counter of a theater. There Mr. Sergey and Luskov, they saw each other and they started talking. Okay, so next comes the characters. So who are the characters in this part? Particularly here we have two characters, that is Mr. Sergey and Luskov. But there is a hidden character, that is Olga. Here we don't have any problem. We have only the solution. So what is the solution here? Here the exposure of the real hero is the solution. So now you just see who is the real hero. Yes, you can say now who is actually the reason behind Luskov, who brought change in Luskov. Is it really Sergey or someone else? You just think, yes, I think this is Olga, not Mr. Sergey. Yes, Mr. Sergey has a helping hand for changing Luskov, but most responsible person to change Olga's behavior, that is mentally, physically and also economically, is Olga. Okay, so the real hero in this chapter is Olga. And the moral of this story is the noble words and the noble deeds can bring a great change in this world. Okay, so keep watching, keep learning, stay safe, stay home. I will be right back with a new video, with a new chapter. Hope you understand what I want to say in this video. Thank you. Goodbye. Take care.